Hello everyone, my name is Retrianti Prasetya from Rombel Khususwa. In this occasion, I'm going to present a journal under the theme of Speech as Social Interaction. The journal entitled Trust Term, Framing, and Identity in Indonesian Youth Interaction. The paper was researched by Howard Mons from Monash University. So first of all, here is the agenda for the presentation. The first one, there is the introduction, and then research problem, and then framing, address terms and the Japanese Indonesian context, in which this will belong into the literature review, and then the methodology, and then finding, and then discussion and conclusion, and then the last one is the further study. So first of all, in the introduction, Kisling 2009 stated that it has been posited that address terms may be the best example of sociolinguistic indices. Furthermore, Kisling also added that a speaker always has choice of which address term to use or whether or not to use one at all. Meanwhile, in Indonesia, as we all knew, the address terms are among the crucial linguistic mediators of social interaction. In spite of their role in mediating relations, address terms have received a little attention in recent studies of Indonesian, especially the study about the links between address terms and identity. Based on that, the research problems are actually came out. So there are two questions from this research. The first one is how Javanese youth in Malang, East Java, use address terms to enact interactional stances in Indonesian language conversations. And then the second one, how young Javanese individuals in Malang use address terms to construct identity. Now we come to the literature review. Framing. What exactly is framing? The definition of framing is frequently used for study of context. Goffman, 1974, added that frames come to be placed around the actions and utterances of conversation participants when there is a shared definition of situation. Now, why is frame so important? Frames help conversation participants understand how a speech act should be interpreted. As analytical concepts, frames differ from context in that frames are transportable from event to event. Furthermore, Copeland 2007 added that to determine how particular identities are made relevant or salient in discourse. In this research, frames are used to discuss selection and or variation of address terms by young Indonesian speakers in Malang. Next is the address terms and the Javanese Indonesian context. This research, address term is used to refer to a form of second person in which it is mentioned about singular reference which falls outside of core sentence structure based on Brown, 1988. More specifically, address term will refer to a form of second person, singular reference which is an adjunct, or in other words, an element which is not assigned a semantic role by the predicate. For example, man and Jude. Next, in using the address terms or in defining the address terms in the Javanese Indonesian context, we have what's so known as kinship. So what exactly is kinship? In this research, the researcher also explored the use of kin terms as an address terms in Java. Kinship is actually a system of social ties deriving from the recognition of genealogical relations. But what we have to keep in mind here is that Javanese kin terms are extended beyond blood relations to index metaphoric kinship. The Javanese kin terms have been revalorized in and through Indonesian institutions, so as to be appropriate in broader ranges of contexts and relative to more diffuse understandings of social status, according to Ellington, 1998, page 83. So here, the kinship is used by both Javanese and non-Javanese speakers throughout Indonesia to index respect when speaking to older or higher status. As we can see in the example here that there is the Javanese kin terms and the direction of address. For the male kin terms, we have Bapak, Mas, and Adik. Bapak here is to address a male who is older than someone. Mas is also for someone who is older than someone. Meanwhile, Adik is for someone who is younger than someone. For example, I am the adik, and then I will call someone that is a year older than me as Mas, whether it is in my family or outside my family. And then for someone who is older than me, for like 20 years old or 30 years old, I will call him Bapak. And then for female kin terms, there is Ibu, which is in the same line with Bapak, and then Mbak, which is in the same line with Mas, and then Adik, which is the same with the male kin terms. Okay, this choice is avoiding the potential for grounding of asymmetrical sociocultural roles, which might inhibit a conversation framed in interpersonal terms as intimate. Next, there is the methodology of the research. The methodology here started with the data collection. The data collection will be collected from Malang, East Java, with the population of 780,000 people. Why? Because Malang is an urban area in the throes of linguistic and social change. Approximately 80% of Malang's population are ethnically Javanese, and the majority use a local dialect of Javanese as their native or second language. The shift to Indonesian as the backdrop of the maintenance of local Javanese identity. And then the focus of the current study is the middle class with 25 participants. The method of data collection is first the speaking recording with intimate interlocutors in informal setting using Sony TCM400 audio cassette recorders. And then the interactions will be then transcribed and analyzed. The focus of analysis here is the selection of address terms and then the goals of the individual speakers in the selection of the address term. Now we come to the findings. The findings here are divided into 3 parts. So the first one is Javanese kin terms and socio-cultural frames in Malang. Javanese kin terms are used to sustain and are sustained by Javanese socio-cultural frames. Kin terms here are used most frequently as address terms in the current study by younger or lower status speakers when speaking to an older or higher status addressee. Here is the example. It is a conversation by Dila, Indra, Hana, and back to Indra. Dila say, "Acaranya mulai kapan, Mbak?" "When does the program start, Mbak?" Okay, here Dila used mbak because she is talking with someone, she was talking with someone who are older than her. So she addressed that particular someone, that particular girl with mbak. And then Indra, kalau gitu gelombang kedua ada. As for that, there is a meeting scheduled on the 2nd. Then Hannah say, oh, gak diberitahu, mbak. The same case with Dila. Dan Indra say, ya sekarang masih ada. Yeah, as of now, it is still scheduled. Here, within a Javanese sociocultural frame, an older or higher status speaker addressing a younger and lower status interlocutor has the following options with regard to address term selection. As it is stated here, the selection may be based on avoid an address term, use the address's personal name as an address term, or use a downward-oriented kin term as an address term. As you can see in the example, apalagi mbak ya, what else is there, mbak? Here, Ernie is talking to Ida because Ida is older than Ernie, so she called Ida with address term mbak. And then Ida, because she is older than Ernie, Ida says, apalagi Ernie. So this is the address's personal name. Okay. Next is the summary of Javanese kin terms and sociocultural frames in Malang. Kin terms are often selected as address terms with politeness concerns in mind, as you can see in the examples before, that when someone younger speaking with someone older, then the younger person will use instead of mbak or mas. And then the selection of a kin term as address term enables a speaker to pay respect or deference to an addressee in exchange for a potentially FTA or face-threatening act. Personal names may be selected as address terms provided the interlocutors are relatively equal in age and status, and this is explored further in the next section. The second finding is that personal names and interpersonal and genre frames. First of all, the selection of personal names as an address term is influenced by concern of politeness and solidarity, which is almost the same with the first one. The selection of a personal name as an address term implies that this sameness, or more accurately shared experience, derives from a personal relationship. Here, personal names are often selected to accomplish discursive goals like mitigating FTAs. The selection of personal names may also be used for generic frames which are informal and intimate in nature, as it is stated in the example. Pacaran berapa tahun sih, Hen? Dulu itu kan pacar anak SMA di Medan itu dulu pacarannya. Itu ketemu di Medan, terus ketemu lagi. Habis itu putus, terus ketemu di situ gitu loh. Beda setahun ya. Beda setahun, sama-sama tinggi ya. Egonya ya mungkin ya, Jen. Iya, itu anak keberapa? Pertama anaknya, kakakku juga anak pertama. Nggak tahu, kakakku emang childish banget, Jen. Aku akuin. Emang. Here, Jenny selects a shortened form of Henny's name as an address term. Like in number 1, pacaran berapa tahun sih, Hen? Hen here stands for Henny. The use of a personal name here is done in a manner similar to the selection of kin term. And then Henny is positing a strong negative evaluation of a non-present other and is seeking agreement from Jenny. As you can see here, Henny is asking, confirming. So She is actually trying to find the answer from Jenny. Okay, and now is the summary of personal names and interpersonal and gender frames. Personal names are often selected as address terms with politeness and solidarity in mind. Personal names are also used to frame an informal and intimate genre known as curhat, as a way of young people in Malang to construct youth identity goal. As you can see in the example, that it is also known as curhat. It is the example of curhat. According to Smith-Hafner, 2007, goal identity has been linked to relationships which are more equal and interactionally fluid. Furthermore, Mann's 2011 stated that young people wishing to express goal often select language as an agentive projection of the self. Now, the last one is the address terms, social identities, and self-categorization. Here, the intimates may choose innumerable alternative address terms. The social identity goal is becoming more relevant in Malang, and it may be impacting the style of address terms used locally. The selection of address terms with regard to social identities resembles in some ways what Kisling describes as cool solidarity. As stated in the example here, gak karena dosennya ada grandma. It's not because one of the lecturers is your grandma. Enggak, masalah sama. Sekali, mungkin cuman. Waduh, grandma meneh rek, pasti gitu kan? No, same issue, maybe one time only. God, grandma keeps coming up, rek. That's why it is, Berapa kali ketemu grandma? How many times have you met your grandmother? Sebenarnya itu bukan alasan gitu loh, Tur. Truly, that's not the basis for this, Tur. Here, Cato used the term rek. The address term rek is often selected in conjunction with intrasentential code switches to Javanese. This is the case here with the selection of the Javanese lexical item maneh to reiterate. Maneh, meneh. Okay. Now the address terms, social identities, and self-categorization. Here is the summary. The selection of an address term may be an act of cool solidarity, which also projects information about a speaker's self-image. Address terms sayang, like you can see in the example, yang or sai or bab, is influenced by concerns of solidarity and projection of self-identity. The use of sayang is often associated with speakers wishing to project a modern, sophisticated identity. Now we come to the discussion and conclusion. In the discussion and conclusion here, the selection of kin terms which politely respect his hierarchical positioning are among the practices which in fact substantiate Javanese identity. Speakers in Malang shift between frames to accomplish goals. Here, the selection of personal name within curhat or for interpersonal framing may index a shift toward the realization of these desires. Smith-Hafner, 2007, also added that goal has also been linked to the desires of relationships which are more personally expressive and psychologically individualized. Last one is the further research. Based on this research, it is hoped that for the further research will focus in address terms, which seems to be a fruitful domain for uncovering these changes. Okay, so that's all for the presentation today. Thank you for paying attention, and I hope you can get the gist of the presentation. Thank you, matur nuwun, Mas, Mbak.